The English cricket team's batting lineup has been an issue of contention amongst the country's sporting media for longer than the Australians have been cheating. The issue of the top order, and top three in particular, has divided the English cricketing public more than whether to put milk or water in your tea first, or Brexit. And since the 2012 retirement of cricket's smoothest head Andrew Strauss, there's been no definitive answer as to who should encompass the top three. First we have the openers. 19 cricketers have opened the batting for England in the 8 years since Strauss's retirement, as the three lions desperately search for an opener for England's highest ever run scorer and Bob Willis impersonator, Sir Alistair Cook. The selectors trying everyone, from the world's greatest beard Moeen Ali, to a man approaching his 30s who's rolling around in a pit of bulls, dressed like a dog, Jason Roy. However, in a now post-Alistair Cook world, against the odds, England's current openers are faring surprisingly well on the international stage. Despite a tough start to life as an international opener, Mr Bean's cousin and legside enthusiast Dominic Sibley has adapted superbly to the pressures of international cricket. His historic maiden ton at the Newlands Cricket Ground in Cape Town was the first scored by an English opener there in 110 years, and he's followed it up with a handful of impressive, if not characteristically gritty, knocks against a bullish South African bowling attack. Jack Whitehall, Dom Sibley's, current average of 41 is third only to captain Joe Root and fellow Surrey-bred future Ashes winner Ollie Pope in the England setup. On the 6th of November 2018 in Galle, Sri Lanka, Surrey captain Rory Burns was handed quite possibly the hardest task in cricket when captain Joe Root asked the uncapped left-hander to open the batting and henceforth replace one of England and the world's greatest ever players, Sir Alistair Cook. As previously mentioned, Sheep Farmer Cook is England's highest ever run scorer, making a mammoth 12,472 runs and 33 centuries in his 161 test matches. It's therefore safe to say that replacing him at the top of England's order was certainly a tough ask, and one that for many players would have been undesirable. However, in the 2 years since his debut, David Brent lookalike Rory Burns has shown that he's more than up for the challenge. His maiden Ashes ton was undoubtedly a turning point, a knock where, among an immense amount of criticism over his technique, Burns displayed his trademark unfazable mental stability and temperament, playing and missing over 40 times on his way to an unforgettable 135. Since then, the Peaky Blinders wannabe has elevated his test career from strength to strength, following up his promising Ashes with a crafty second 100 at Seddon Park in New Zealand. Andy Ruiz's slimmer brother, Burns, boasting an average of 33.8 before his winter was abruptly cut short, attempting one too many rainbow flicks in the England warm-up. Seeing as the world is currently having a bit of a moment, it's unclear when England's next test will be, although scheduled matches against both the West Indies and Pakistan have not yet been delayed. Burns, however, should be confident of reclaiming the opening position which he's made his own over the previous 2 years. Then of course we come to Kent batsman and absolute womaniser Zak Crawley, who's been the man to fill Rory Burns' boots as Sibley's opening partner for England's recent series in South Africa, and surely would have done the same on the Three Lions clan tour of Sri Lanka, if it weren't for coronavirus! James Vince disguised as an opener, Crawley made his debut in New Zealand, deputising for the injured Jos Buttler at Seddon Park. Despite almost getting run out first ball and going on to score only one run in the rest of that game, the 22-year-old has been relatively impressive in his 3 caps since. His 164 test runs at an average of 27.3, while on the whole underwhelming, show the promise that so regularly gives Rob Key an erection. The issue in fact arises when considering the imminent return of Rory Burns from his football-induced absence. Assuming Burns reclaims his spot as opener, where does that leave human beanpole Zak Crawley? One viable option is batting Crawley down the order at 3, another position which England haven't been able to nail down. And since the retirement of renowned grinder and ardent V-neck wearer Jonathan Trott, there's been no obvious answer. Moeen Ali, Johnny Bairstow and Sir Ben Stokes have all played the role in recent years, but to little success. And most recently, it's been the dependable Joe Denley who's batted there. Although making 650s in his 14 England matches, Denley, who averages 30, has yet to push on and score 100. The batting all-rounder, high scoring with 94 in last summer's final Ashes test. With this in mind, it looks like the youthful Zak Crawley will be the man to replace 34-year-old Denley. While their averages are comparable, Crawley seems to have both age and momentum on his side, posting his high score of 66 in England's last innings against South Africa. There are of course others who could try their hand at batting 3, Captain Joe Root has done so successfully before, but seems most comfortable in his current role at number 4. And Ian Bell copycat, Ollie Pope, is another tip for top order stardom in the number 3 role. However, having only played a handful of matches at number 6, the 48 averaging ginger will likely be kept down the order while he finds his feet. All this considered, here's England's likely top 3 for the foreseeable future. The dependable Rory Burns and Dom Sibley open, with the formidable stroke-making ginger Zach Crawley coming in at 3. While this trio obviously pales in comparison to previous English top orders, such as Strauss, Cook and Trott, it's definitely exciting, and certainly better than Warner, Burns and Labuschagne. Right?